The Chicago Sky are no threat. They've given up. They've raised the white flag. Angel Reese is nothing. They're quitting. Caitlyn Clark doesn't need our protection from Chicago. Not from the Sky and not from Lisa Leslie either. Leslie tweeted on Sunday that Clark and Reese should share the Rookie of the Year.
Jason Whitlock just shook up the WNBA world, and Angel Reese isn't staying quiet. He called her double-double streak a gimmick, even hinting that the lead might be boosting her stats. Now Reese is clapping back, and the tension is rising. But could there be more to this story than it seems?
75 feet of the court, when, again, their entire focus is not letting you get a clean look and just following you everywhere, and you're the point guard.
Ouch. But you might be wondering, why is Whitlock targeting Reese like this? He's not just doubting her stats. He's accusing the entire WNBA of pulling strings behind the scenes. Can you believe it? But here's where things really get intriguing.
And so, do you think Angel Reese has no case, or is she closing the gap in any way? Or should Caitlyn Clark just be a unanimous choice as Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, I would say yes, unanimous case as Rookie of the Year. I think that Reese right now, as we stand here today about the midpoint, has absolutely no.
Reese isn't backing down. She's hitting back hard, and the tension's rising faster than a fast break. But this clash goes deeper than just words. It's about race, how we define success in the WNBA, and maybe even the future of the league itself. Ready to dive into what's really happening here?
Just look at what we're witnessing. She buried Angel Reese in Chicago last Friday. The Fever blew out the Sky on a night when Dopey DeShields delivered 3 cheap shots.
In Trust Arena, the Fever really stretched out this one.
Clark posted 31 points and 12 assists in a 19-point victory. Show White exited the game to a round of applause and then sat and watched Sleazy Reese.
While Reese and Whitlock are clashing, Caitlyn Clark is quietly rewriting the WNBA record books. What if I told you her numbers are making even veteran players stop and take notice? Her impact goes far beyond the stats, and it's turning a whole lead upside down.
3rd worst record in the WNBA. The Fever currently stand at 17-16 this season with 7 games to play. They're the hottest team in the league since the Olympic break. They can win it all this season if, and only if, Caitlyn Clark continues to elevate her efficiency and basketball IQ.
You might be thinking, sure, rookies can have hot starts, but are Clark's numbers really that special? Let me break it down. She's averaging 18.7 points per game. Not just good, that's elite-level scoring for a first-rounder. But here's the mind-blowing part. She's leading the entire WNBA with 8.4 assists per game. A rookie topping the league in assists? That's unheard of.
Running off screens and hunting buckets and hunting open looks. She's the point guard. She's responsible for more points than anybody in the WNBA.
You might be wondering, can she keep this up? Here's the scoop. Clark isn't just posting impressive numbers. She's redefining rookie expectations in the WNBA. She's not just performing well. She's playing like a seasoned pro from the start, and it's catching everyone's attention.
We don't even have to compare individual statistics. Clark beats Reese in every category except rebounding. The Dwarves are bigoted and jealous.
Have you noticed the surge in attendance at Indiana Fever games? Fans are flocking to see Clark in action. TV ratings are soaring, and social media is buzzing. Clark isn't just excelling on the court. She's expanding the WNBA's reach, drawing new eyes to the game. That's a game changer for the league's future.
Here's what Nancy Lieberman had to say. By far, she's going to be Rookie of the Year. If anybody thinks she's not, feel free to call me or hit me on Instagram or Twitter. Talk that talk, Nancy Lieberman. In the aftermath.
But let's be real for a moment. It's not all smooth sailing for Clark. She's facing criticism, particularly for her high turnover rate and defensive play. However, here's where it gets interesting. Jason Whitlock, who's been tough on Angel Reese, has a different perspective on Clark's turnovers.
Someone needs to say, Caitlyn, you got to keep your focus. You got to value each possession. You can't play loose with the basketball. These turnovers, 7 a pop, are going to hurt you in the postseason. Period. End of story. You can't be that loose with the basketball.
Whitlock argues that Clark's turnovers need to be viewed in context. He compares the intense defensive scrutiny she's facing to what Michael Jordan dealt with early in his career. A rookie getting Jordan-level defensive attention. That's wild.
You know what happens when you feel like, hey, I'm not getting what I deserve? You become entitled.
When you feel like you're not getting the recognition you deserve, it can make you feel entitled. Now get this. Clark's three-point shooting is at 33.6%. She's not just any rookie. She's the main target for every opposing team's defensive strategy.
Instead, they're inbounding the ball, and Angel Reese has her hands up. She's posted up over the middle. They're running a play just to get her a bucket.
Here's what's truly remarkable about Clark. Despite the turnovers and shooting challenges, she remains the centerpiece of her team's offense. She's not just putting up points, she's creating opportunities for her teammates. That's what makes her so valuable to the Indiana Fever. And speaking of shaking things up, while everyone's focused on Angel Reese's double-doubles, are we missing the bigger picture? Whitlock dismissed Reese's streak as a gimmick, but is it really? Let's dive into the hidden impact that might be changing the game in unexpected ways.
Pad her stats in the final 90 seconds. Sleazy, Dopey, Angry Carter, and their coach, Weavy Weatherspoon, have lost 8 of their last 10 games. The Sky are tied for the last playoff spot with Atlanta. I think they're tanking.
Consider this. Reese's rebounding isn't just about boosting her stats. It's a key element of her team's strategy. When she grabs those boards, she's not just adding to her numbers. She's creating second chances and shutting down opponents' opportunities. That's not a gimmick. It's game-changing basketball. Now, you might ask, if Reese is so good, why are the Chicago Sky struggling? It's true, they've lost 8 of their last 10 games. But here's the twist. Basketball is a team sport. No matter how talented one player is, they can't carry an entire team alone. Reese's individual brilliance might be overshadowed by broader team issues, but that doesn't diminish the value of her contributions.
Clark is averaging 16 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, something along those lines. And Reese is averaging like 14 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists. And like I said before, Clark is, without question, to me, the best player on that team. Reese is not that on her own team. And again, let's factor in the team success, same number of wins, so Reese isn't gaining any headway there. And then overall, again, Jason, the overall popularity, I'm sure you have discussed this ad nauseum, but when you look at really the impact of Caitlyn Clark, it's absolutely astounding.
Let's talk playing styles. Caitlyn Clark's game is all about flashy three-pointers and highlight reel passes, while Angel Reese brings a completely different approach. The WNBA benefits from having both of these diverse styles. They not only make the game more exciting to watch, but also challenge every player to adapt and elevate their game. Reese isn't just competing. She's pushing the boundaries of what's possible in women's basketball.
Reese is averaging like 14 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists. And like I said before, Clark is, without question, to me, the best player on that team. Reese is not that on her own team. And again, let's factor in the team success, same number of wins, so Reese isn't gaining any headway there. And then overall, again, Jason, the overall popularity, I'm sure you have discussed this ad nauseum, but when you look at really the impact of Caitlyn Clark, it's absolutely astounding that this team, just not even looking at viewership, but in just raw attendance numbers for every team in the WNBA right now at about the midpoint, the Fever are averaging about 17,000 people per game in attendance. That's essentially a sellout every game. Number 2 on that list is the New York Liberty with just about 12,000, so substantially less than Clark. And then the Sky, which is Reese's team, is averaging about 8,000 people in attendance. And when you look at the viewership, just to touch on this real briefly, because these numbers are absolutely mind-boggling to me.
So what's the real story behind Reese's double-doubles? It's not just about the numbers. It's about tactical mastery. Each rebound Reese grabs is a strategic move. She's not merely reacting. She's anticipating where the ball will land, positioning herself precisely, and using her strength and agility to secure it. That's not something you can fake or manipulate. It's pure skill, honed through countless hours of practice and game experience.
Everybody in the WNBA, when you combine her assists and points, she's responsible for more points than anybody in the WNBA. That again is why I consider her Rookie of the Year without question. Basketball's a game about producing buckets.
And here's another angle to consider. Reese's style may not always produce flashy highlights, but it's the kind of basketball that wins championships. It's about controlling the game, setting the pace, and wearing down opponents in a league where every possession matters. Her knack for consistently securing extra possessions is invaluable. But what if the debate between Clark and Reese is actually holding the WNBA back? There's a hidden impact here that's transforming women's basketball in ways you might not expect.
Race idolaters propping up Angel Reese, but they've propped her up to a point that we got to start kind of taking it serious. This conversation. I told you what side I'm on.
You've seen how Clark and Reese are grabbing headlines, but have you noticed how their rivalry is getting wrapped up in bigger issues? It's no longer just about basketball. The media is turning it into a story about race and identity. That's making it much harder to focus on what really matters, how these two players are changing the game.
NCAA championship game, Reese made a taunting hand gesture right in Caitlyn Clark's face. It was a callback to when Clark had made a similar gesture earlier in the tournament, but Reese claimed that she received more criticism, not because of how she had performed the gesture or the context of it, but because she's black. Quote, "I'm too ghetto," she said. "I don't fit in a box that y'all want me to be in. I'm too hood. So this was for me, this was for the girls that look like me that's going to speak up on what they believe in."
Think about it. Clark's all about flashy plays and long-range shots, while Reese is a powerhouse in the paint, snagging rebounds like it's her job. They're completely different players, but here's the catch. Angel Reese isn't thriving with all the spotlight focused on Clark. Just take a look.
Started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
The WNBA needs both Clark and Reese. It's not about who's better. It's about how they're both pushing the boundaries of women's basketball. But here's where it gets complicated. The spotlight on Clark and Reese is bringing some unexpected challenges. Jason Whitlock isn't just questioning Reese's stats. He's raising concerns about the entire league, suggesting that gambling interest might be influencing the game. Can you imagine the integrity of the WNBA being at stake?
Stuff and trying to help Angel Reese out, but what do you think about that nuance? So just 8 less minutes. It is kind of impressive. You can get these double doubles. If guys in the NBA had 8 less minutes, there'd be probably a lot less double doubles.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that the eight fewer minutes obviously is going to depreciate some of the bulk totals that, again, we're used to seeing. Just our trained eyes are used to seeing from watching NBA and seeing NBA stat lines. But I mean, as you referenced, look, the shot making is at a lower level in my estimation in the WNBA. There's a lot more misses.
You might be thinking, isn't all this attention good for the WNBA? And you're right. The Clark-Reese rivalry is sparking conversations and drawing in new fans. TV ratings are up, but there's a catch. While we're debating who's better, we might be missing the bigger picture. Here's the real deal.
I'm saying that Caitlyn Clark has just caught the attention of the world. She might be right now, maybe her and Simone Biles, the most visible women athletes in the world right now. And this is a good thing for sports. And internally, we can be women. We could be our worst enemies. We should embrace people who take us to another level. And she's done that, and it's proven from her collegiate days with TV, with jersey sales.
Fans, sparking conversations, and pushing the boundaries of the sport. Imagine what the WNBA could become if we focus on that instead of trying to crown a single queen.